Hey guys and gals, it's Mr. V. Hey, we are back for another day of multiplying fractions and whole numbers. But this time is going to be a little bit different. Cool thing is the outcome, the answer will stay the same. Remember, like I told you, excuse me, 3 times 2 equals 6, 2 times 3 equals 6. But the way the order is can have an effect, especially when you're dealing with fractions. Okay, so we're gonna pay attention to that today to see what happens to our answer. So we're gonna have to remember some of what we learned on Thursday, Friday, and Monday about what you have, what you want, and then we have to remember who's who's the multiplier, who's the guy kind of making it happen. And once we get all of that, remembering that stuff down, it's going to make this a lot easier to understand. Remember, the doing part is pretty easy. The understanding part, make sense of it and how it actually works, can get a little tricky at times. All right, so get your notebook out if it's not. This time, we are multiplying. So if you remember, last time, if you look here, we did fractions and wholes. Okay, so we're going to multiply a whole number by a fraction. And the reason we say it like that is because we have the whole number. We're going to multiply it by a fraction. Okay, so if you think about that, it's going to make more sense to you when we do it. So remember, do not forget, we're going to review here. What does multiply mean? What is the one word that we want to think of the most? We say we know it means of. The other big topic or the big thought is what we have goes what? Second or last, whichever one you want to say. And then what we are doing or what we want goes first. So those are all things that we learned on Thursday and Friday into Monday. So those are going to be what help us to understand what's going on. Okay, so we're going to turn every problem into a kind of a word problem to make it make sense. Okay, but this time, like I said, it's going to be a little bit different. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna draw it. Visuals are going to look the same, but pay attention to how it's different. So think about how it's different between the two videos and the two ways we've learned it. Okay, so now I'm going to say 1/3 times 2. Okay, so this time let's apply this knowledge. Multiply means of. What we have goes second. So this time I have 2. So now I fully have 2 candy bars. That's what I have. I have 2 candy bars. I want 1/3 of them. Of it. I want 1/3 of 2. So if I put the I want here, the of, and just say it to yourself, I want 1/3 of 2 candy bars. Okay, so again, when we draw this to make sure we understand it, we're going to draw what we have. Okay, so again, same things I kind of did last video. Draw what you have, because that's what you start with. That you cannot want 2 candy bars without having 2 candy bars. Okay, so you need to, in order to want them, you have to have them. So I'm going to draw 2 candy bars. There they are. Now notice they're in holes. So I didn't cut them yet because I have 2 whole candy bars, right? It says I want 1/3 of 2. Okay, so I want 1/3 of 2. So I'm going to cut my candy bars into thirds. Why did I do that? Because my denominator is thirds, and it says I want 1/3 of 2. To make it as easy as possible, since you want 1/3 of 2 of them, I'm going to take 1/3 here. This is what I get. I'm going to shade in here what I get. So that's the 1/3. So I get this 1/3. And then I'm going to go down to this second candy bar and take 1/3 of it. And then you can see my answer is 2. I get 2 pieces. Now, what's my denominator? The common mistake here is to say 6. But remember, what does a denominator tell us? This is where you have to remember. A denominator is how many pieces make up your whole, okay? And what makes up one whole? 3. So it's still 2/3. So be careful with that, because that can be a little bit of a trick if you're not thinking about what denominators are and what numerators are, okay? Now, could you do it the other way? I have 2 candy bars. I want 1/3 of them. Could you cut them into thirds and go, okay, well, I want this piece. That's a third. And instead of going to the second candy bar, could you just say, I want this piece? Yes, you could. Okay. Yes. Okay. You could absolutely do that. And that would be okay to do. Okay. So in your answer would stay the same, because what are you getting of the whole? I'm getting 2/3. Again, you didn't get any of that second one, which is okay. So what do you have? You have 2/3 of the 2 candy bars. And that's how it works with this. So this time, but pay attention to what happened to your answer. Okay, and this is where we want to focus on this, because it's going to get even more. We're going to build on this even more in a couple days. What did we start with? We had 2 wholes. I wanted some of it. Instead of saying 1/3, I just want to say some, or a piece, or a part, because this is a fraction, and we know a fraction is not greater than 1, a normal fraction. So here I want some of 2. I want part of 2. I want a piece of 2. So if I only want some of it, if I only want a fraction of this, did I get all of it? No. If I had got all of it, I'd have shaded all of them. Okay. Did I get more than it? No. That's what happened Thursday or Friday and Monday when we did this. Okay. Because last time I had a third and I wanted multiple of them. This time I have 2 candy bars. Boom, there they are, 2 candy bars, but I only want to eat some of it. You know, we can say, oh, I had dinner, I'm not very hungry, so I'm only wanting part of it right now. So notice our answer, okay, our answer here, our product, we should probably use correct terminology, our product went down from what we had. So again, there's what we had. We had 2 wholes, but notice my answer is only 2/3. Okay, I didn't even eat a full candy bar. I have 2/3. Okay, so keep that in mind. Your answer went down. You did not have it all. You only had a piece. So in these problems, when we multiply, our answer's actually going down. And why? Because this guy here, this is the multiplier. That's important. This is our multiplier. This guy here is the multiplier. Let me put an arrow to him. And he's going to kind of dictate or be in charge of kind of what happens. This is 1/3 of 2. I started with 2. I only wanted some of it, so my answer went down. Okay? And that's how you can see that your answer went down, because you only wanted a fraction. So when this guy here is a fraction, a normal fraction smaller than 1, your answers are going to go down. Okay, that means your product is the same, or I'm sorry, your product is less than what you started with. Okay, all right, so let's look again. Let's try something else. Let's go 1/4 times 3. Okay, so again, now let's understand the problem. What I have is this guy, and you could even put an H for have if you want. What I want is this guy. So there's my want, and we know this is of. So I have it, I want it. Okay? And you can even, if you want to write it out because those don't make sense to you, boom. The biggest thing I want you to do is make sense of this. Is it easy? Yes. Is it the same thing as before where we could put a 1 under this and multiply across? Yes. but I want you to understand what's happening. So that way, when you get to word problems and deeper thought problems, you understand and you can pick out what's going on. Okay. So what do I have here? I have 3. So I'm going to draw 3 holes. There's 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 candy bars. I want 1/4 of them. So I'm going to cut them all into fourths. Do the best you can. So I'm cutting them all into fourths. And I'm going to take 1/4 of them. I like to just go ahead and shade 1/4 of each, just so I can see there's 1/4 of the first candy bar, 1/4 of the second, and 1/4 of the third. Okay. And now remember, this is the hard part. When you do this, you have to, 1, count up your numerator. How many pieces do you have? 1, 2, 3. But when you counted those pieces, what did you count? 3 what? When you said 3, what does that piece look like? What does that piece look like? What does that piece look like? That's the important part. Some people like to say the answer is 3/12 because they want to count the numerator, then they want to add up all the denominators. Remember, we don't add denominators. Denominators tell her what our pieces look like. So that is wrong. Okay? No, we're going to put no. Don't do that. Okay? This is 1/4. This is 1/4. This is 1/4. So basically what you did is what we did last time, and you're still adding 3 1/4, which make it 3/4. So be careful there. Okay. And again, the more you understand about denominators, that they tell you what your whole looks like or what your pieces look like, then the better off you'll be. Okay. Could it work the other way too, like this? Yes, it could. Okay. I could absolutely do that. Okay. I don't like this way is better for this method, but it does. You could. So there's my 3 candy bars. I'm going to cut them all into fourths, and I want 3 pieces, or I want 1/4 of 3. So there's 1/4. There's 2/4. There's 3/4. You could do it that way too. And no matter what, you still have 3/4, and your answer is always out of 1 because you have 3/4 of a whole candy bar. Okay. Our answer, notice we started with 3, and then now we have 3/4. So our answer went down. Why did our answer go down? Why was our product smaller? Because we only wanted some of it. Say that with me. I wanted some of it. Why do I say some here? Because he is a fraction. Okay. You can even say fraction. I want a fraction. I want a piece of it. Okay. So anytime you want a fraction of something, you will not get the whole thing. That's the big thing to understand. And if you can understand that, when we move on to a lesson later called scaling, this is going to make complete sense to you. So don't pass this up on me, okay? Because I'm trying to prep you for something later on. Let's do one more problem together, and I think you'll get it because it is the same kind of thought process as before, just kind of opposite. Let's do 2/3. 2/3 times. Let's go 3. 2/3 times 3. Okay. So this is a little different because now this fraction actually has bigger than 1. So what we call these fractions, I don't know if we've ever taught you this. If there's a 1 on the fraction, that's called a unit fraction. So when the numerator is 1, we call that a unit fraction. Well, this now is not a unit fraction. It's 2/3. Still works the same way though. Okay. So I want, I have, and we'll put the word of there. And remember, the want could also be do. Because if this was like I was running a mile or running 2/3 of a mile, that's the same thing. So here I have 3 candy bars. Okay. I want 2/3 of them. So you still don't want more than 1. Your answer still will be less than what you have because you're not eating all of them. If this was 3/3, you would eat them all. But this is still, you want a lot of it, you want most of it, but you don't want all of it. So I'm going to cut them all into thirds. And again, I'm going to take 2/3 of 3. I'm going to take 2/3 of the candy bars. So this time I'm going to shade 2/3 of this guy. I'm going to shade 2/3 of this guy. And 2/3 of this guy. So now I took 2/3 of each of the candy bars. When I go to add that up, remember, denominator stays the same. Why? Because your pieces haven't changed. You did not cut your pieces. When you count these, you're still counting. That's 1/3. That's 1/3. That's 1/3. That's 1/3. So you're adding a whole bunch of thirds. So let's do it. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3. So my answer is 6/3, and then I can turn that into 3 can go into 6 2 times. My answer is 2. And you might be like, well, Mr. Veith, that's a whole number, so that your answer went up. Nope. Because what did I start with? I started with 3 candy bars, and I ate a total of 2 of them. Okay? So your answer still went down. Just because it's a whole doesn't mean it didn't go down. You started with 3 candy bars. You wanted 2/3 of them. So you ate a total of 6 pieces, 6 1/3 pieces. When you put all those pieces together, it makes 2 whole candy bars, but you started with 3. You still did not eat those. So your answer still went down. If I was going to draw this the other way, I'd still have my 3 holes. And then what I'm going to say is I'm going to eat these 2/3. I'm going to eat this 2/3 first. Do this way. And then this way. And then you can clearly see there's 2 whole candy bars were eaten. So that would be 2 holes. Or again, 6/3. But again, your answer went down because of our understanding of everything. You have 2/3 of 3. Okay? 3 is what you have. You wanted some, most, whatever you want to say, of it, but you still didn't eat all of it. And you definitely didn't eat more of it. And that's what we were doing last time. Last time we were taking more than what we had. Okay? We ate all of our piece and wanted seconds and thirds. We wanted more. This, we have, it's unfocused. There you go. This, I have 3, but I don't want all of it. I only want some of it, part of it, and I'll save the rest for later. That's why our answer goes down. Okay? Again, when we're doing just small, simple problems, this isn't too hard. When you start putting it into context and word problems, you really have to figure out what the problem's telling you. And if you understand this, it's going to help you a lot. All right, guys. Hope this helps.